guys. Just gonna wait here. Welcome to our live today. It's just me. Just gonna wait on here, see if anybody decides to join us today. I'm on two here. I'm on Facebook Live and Instagram Live. It took a little bit of MacGyvering to get the two set up in my studio. So if I'm focusing over here towards my Facebook page, don't mind me. Instagram, I'll be kind of switching back and forth, making sure that I get all of your questions, see you all here. Just so you know, I am addressing the both of you. It's just, my suite's a little bit funny, and I didn't bring my tripod, so it's okay. We'll begin in a moment because I'm on here early anyways. Okay. All right. It's been about a minute. A little bit of ahead of schedule. No, right on time. It's 1 p.m. So let's get started. So guys, so excited to have you here. I am Anya, one of the two parts of the BBC, Beauty Business Culture, community of hairstylists, beauty professionals, solopreneurs who are really trying to make it in the industry. We are here to give you the tools, the information, and feedback if you need it. Christine's not here with me today, so I am flying solo, and I've had this idea for this live in my mind for a couple of weeks now, and I am so excited to share it with you because I have so many people asking me often, how much does it cost to open up a salon suite? And I think that a lot of us will make up a lot of arbitrary numbers in our minds, and we'll create a budget and we'll make it unattainable, and we'll make it seem like this is not something that we can do. And I'm kind of here to give you a very realistic budget, and not only a budget, but I want to go through some of the mistakes that I see happening very often with new stylists in a new studio when they start to open, because I've been here at Salons by JC at Sherway Gardens for 3 years now. So as you can imagine, I've seen a lot of people come and I've seen a lot of people go, and I really don't think it's the salon suite model that's the problem. I think just a lot of people are coming into it without the proper information, without the proper business sense, and with maybe a little bit of false expectation. And I think if you've never done this before, that's completely okay. Of course, you've never had a salon suite, and it is one of those like learn as you go experiences, and it evolves. It absolutely evolves. I'm a numbers girl and I'm a budget girl, and so I have spreadsheets, like financial spreadsheets that I have kept through the last 3 years of having my suite. So I actually went back to my 20s, like 3 years back, and I actually looked at the month of May, which is when I opened up my suite here at Salons by JC, and I wanted to give you a cost by cost review of how much I spent to bring together this space today. Now, I want you to know that the space you see behind me, it isn't what I started with. And I wish it was what I started with 3 years ago, but it's evolved. So I'm also going to tell you the cost of then renovating my studio. And it hasn't changed that much, but it's changed a little bit. So I kept all of my spreadsheets. I kept all of the finances. Hello. Hello, Facebook. I'm in Instagram Live. Thank you for joining me. So I kept all the spreadsheets. So I'm going to give you, this is a rough, still rough. And disclaimer, I am an extremely thrifty, money conscious individual. So when you get this budget for my studio opening, you're really getting that from a person who is quite, I like to be fiscally responsible. Let's put it that way. So I really tried to do this on a budget. So let's hop in and let's discuss this. So first on my list, I have my color supplies. So a lot of stylists will come into this sort of space, and they'll do like week by week, color by color I decided to buy a full color line. I just felt that I wanted to create a space where I could be ready and prepared for absolutely anything that came my way. A lot of companies will have fantastic opening packet, like first time buyers packages that you can purchase. Now, they're certainly not cheap, but they're a very good investment. You get several colors and it really sets you up for success, and you don't have any of that anxiety of like, oh my gosh, like if someone was to book this or this, like I would not be prepared. I wanted to be fully prepared. So my color supplies at the beginning, I have written here $560. So I'm assuming I came here with a little bit of color supply to begin with, and then I built on that. So 560, but I also wanted to include my cost for my second month, because I noticed when I looked in, so this was May, when I looked at the June expenses, I had spent $1,130.32. So I don't remember what happened 3 years ago, but I'm assuming that I went in cheap. I was more busy than I thought I would be. I was more successful than I thought it would be. And then June came, and I think that's when I may have decided to actually purchase a full color line. So $560 for my color supplies in my first month going in, but my second month I seem to have doubled down. I spent $1,130 just to paint a realistic picture of what that could cost. My studio furniture. So for me, that was like this little vanity that I have behind me, a mirror that this is a new mirror, but I used to have an old mirror in here. I had a little bit of shelving. I needed a little trolley. Like I had some of these things. Like I already had a tray, for instance. I came into this from renting a chair, so I had a few of my supplies already. But my furniture, the wallpaper you see behind me, for instance, the paint to paint the studio, that actually ran me about $1,200, $1,300. So somewhere in between there. So you can expect to spend on the furniture, the coffee machine, all of that. And I did a lot of my shopping at HomeSense and IKEA. You can typically find a lot of great things that are so functional in a studio space. Shelving, whatever you may. Again, shelving behind me is brand new. So this wasn't how my studio used to look like. Then you have to take into account your licensing. I don't know where all of you are that are watching. We are in Toronto. So for instance, we need a municipal business license to operate here in the city. It's a city operational license, which ran me about $350 to $400, I believe, is what I have written down here. And then also you need to get your business license. You need to register your business as a solo entrepreneur, sole proprietor. And that also costs money. These are things we maybe do not consider when we're opening up a salon suite, that this isn't just an at-home studio. This is a business. You're going to have a health inspector coming in. Like you're going to be treated like pretty much the same as a big box hair salon would be treated. And then you have to account for your rent. So the rent my first month, usually in a studio suite, and this seems like a weird concept to some people because if you're renting your home space, you're paying month to month, but in a studio suite, you're actually paying weekly. By every week you're paying your rent, which actually makes it really nice because every week when you finish, you hit your rent goal, you're like, with your clients, you're like, great, now I've covered the rent. Everything else I get to take home. And it's a really fantastic way to actually think about it. So my rent, my suite, about $1,500. This is all before taxes, guys. These are all prices before taxes. So your first month, you're paying the rent. You're paying $1,500. It depends where you are. Here at Salons by JC, that's about what people pay. It really depends on the size of your room, whether you have a window, whether you are in a big or small suite, and what you require. So that really brings me up to $3,690. And I would also recommend that you save 3 to 6 months rent, because you really don't know what to expect when you are opening up your suite. You don't know how the first few months are going to go, and We're going to talk about the mistakes that a lot of hairstylists go through. When I talk about those, you're going to understand. You're going to understand why you need to have a little bit of a safety net and a little bit of like a safety basket of money in case, let's be honest, like shit hits the fan and you get a little bit nervous. You want to be able to pay the bills and you want to feel comfortable. So $3,600, I believe I had saved and set aside $7,000. I had been saving for a few months. I wanted to be comfortable. I can't say that I had 3 to 6 months rent saved, maybe in my savings, but I had a budget of $7,000 going into it. I obviously came under budget, and that's where we're at now. Now, at the end of last year, which would have been 2.5 years of being in the suite, I remodeled and redid my studio. And for that, I budgeted about $1,000. So I did $1,000 reno that involved some new furniture. We needed to re-wallpaper some spots in my studio. Just wear and tear, guys. You're in here every single day. Like, it changes too. Like, my style changed. Like, I had a very different style when I first started here to what I have now. So there's also that. So that was $1,000 reno, and then the product behind me. Now, a lot of studios won't start with a product line, but an investment for a product line was about $3,500 in products. But it's a fantastic investment. So those are the rolling costs. And then time-wise, usually when you sign up for a salon suite, when you come in, you do your tour, you will be given, when you sign your lease, they will usually give you about 2 weeks to set up. So I took 2 weeks to set up my suite. I had help from friends. I'd be in here outside of, like, I was renting a chair salon. Like, obviously life doesn't stop. You have to keep working. If you have the luxury of having the time off, you could probably get this thing rolling a lot quicker. But for me, I spent about 2 weeks coming in here, putting a new paint job, having a friend come, do the wallpaper with me, putting together IKEA furniture, and just like making the space my own. So that time-wise, it was about 2 weeks that it took, and I really thought it was impossible, but it really is possible, guys. So if you're thinking this is going to be thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars and you're building up in your head like, I cannot afford this, you can totally afford this. Anybody can save $3,500 to $4,000. Even if you gave yourself 6 months to a year, you could totally do it. You could do it, and you could end up having a salon suite of your own. It is such a tangible thing. And if you compare it to the startup cost of an entire salon, like a big salon, multi chairs, multi-staff salon, that is like it could be anywhere from $50,000 to $70,000 investment. It's massive. It's massive. You need the electrical work. Basically, you come into a suite. Yes, you make it your own. Yes, you decorate. Yes, you buy the supplies, but everything else is pretty much done for you. The chairs are here. The sinks are here. And in fact, this studio comes outfitted with the furniture that you would need, except I didn't want it. I want to make it my own, and a lot of people feel that way. And so a lot of people will decorate themselves. Anna's here. Awesome. All right. So we're about like 10 minutes in. So now I want to talk about this is why I wanted to get you in here. I wanted to tell you the price of it, but then I want to trick you and tell you like what the mistakes that people make, because I really want to save you from making these like stupid mistakes that stylists make when they come into a salon suite and start their salon suite business. So mistake number one, they put all of their focus into making their suite beautiful and pretty, and they don't put enough focus into making their business functional. So you end up with, yes, this beautiful space, it's absolutely amazing, and it looks really pretty, but when you look at the behind the scenes of the business, like it really doesn't function very well. So what I'm talking about here is your branding, your marketing funnel, your website, your booking system, your opening promotion, your client consultation emails, your pricing, your Google page that shows people where you are, that lets people know you exist, your licensing, which I talked about. All of these things people ignore. They just think they got to come in here, they got to get the color, they got to get it looking pretty. But those are the things that look really nice, but they're not the things customers will appreciate. They're not the things that are going to move the needle forward in your business. On the back end of your business, you should, before your pricing, your pay, how are you going to take payment? Like, people don't think about these things because it's really fun for us as hairstylists or beauty professionals to focus on like the easy, pretty thing that comes very easily to us, which is being creative, which is decorating, which is rarely are we really drawn to doing the administrative stuff. So you really want to make sure that you have a clear brand, that you have a website for your clients to find you, that they have somewhere to go to know that you even exist. And I see it time and time and over again. And then inevitably, listen, when you come into a studio suite, you are telling the universe that you are ready for change, that you are ready for greatness, that you are ready to receive all the abundance that the universe has for you, because you are done working for somebody else. And I promise you that the universe hears that, and you're going to get busy. You're going to get clients. Like, I know it's tough to come into this without any fear, but believe me, you will look back a year later and like, wow, I can't believe I was ever scared. Like, look at me, I'm booked solid, everything's going great. So you need to prepare like you're going to be the busiest hairstylist in the world. That means having your back end dialed in, service menus, business cards. All of those things are super, super important to let people know that you are a serious business owner. You are a serious hairstylist. Like, you're in it to win it. And also, I feel that people, what goes on with that, with like not focusing on the right things, they don't create a budget, like a monthly budget. Like, you come into this and you like don't really realize how much is it going to cost me to run this thing every month? How much do I need to bring in order to pay my bills and pay my bills at home? Like, you really got to focus on these things. Okay, so first mistake is you put all new stylists always put all their focus into making their studio suite pretty, and they do not care about the back end of their business being functional and working. Second, people come in here and like nobody even knows that you're here. You were like decorating the thing, you were preparing to do the thing, you were so caught up in getting the thing going. And the world doesn't even know that you're opening. So you open the doors to your suite to crickets. And you're wondering why. Because you didn't have an opening promotion. You didn't put it in your social media like, hey, look, I'm decorating the suite. In 2 weeks, I'm going to open my doors and I'm going to have a grand opening. Or, people, I've had a few stylists come through my feed like recently, and I see like, oh, wow, they opened a suite, and I follow them regularly, and I never saw anything about this. They didn't warn me. They didn't excite me. They didn't build any anticipation for the launch of their suite. I think it's very, very crucial and extremely important that people know. I know that some stylists are coming from a hair salon where they don't necessarily feel comfortable, discussing this publicly and putting it out there. But the thing is, it's going to come out at some stage. If you're no longer working at the salon that you were working at, and you're in this 2-week buffer of like putting your salon suite together, then why not share it with the world? I've always been of the thought, no one owns your talent, no one owns people, no one owns clients. And if you want to leave and you want to put it on social media, I mean, if you're not actively like stealing clients from anybody, I really believe that we just build up this fear inside ourselves of what's going to happen if I venture out on my own and I do my own thing, and someone's going to punish me, and my career will end, and my name will be slandered, and no one will trust me, and I'm going to go to the ABA, and like people will like glare at me. Like, no, not at all, guys. Like, that's not what's going to happen. Like, what's going to happen is you're going to flourish, but you need to give people the opportunity to know that you exist. You need to put it out into the universe. You got to let them know. So sharing on your social media, making stories about the process, get people excited. Like, for instance, like when a new store is opening at the mall, there's literally like a big ass poster for months letting you know, coming soon. It works. And it'll work for you. So you can't be flying under the radar. Like, you got to let people know that you're there, you're coming for them, you're opening up the 6th suite, and they need to come see you, and you got this promo going on. So 2, no one knows you're even open until you're not. No one even knows you're opening until you're open. And number 3, this is the best for last that I'm leaving here because it's going to give me my hallelujah, like preach queen moment. Number 3, new stylists that come into salon suites, they undervalue themselves or devalue themselves completely. What I mean by this is that, and I've got these because I want to preach to this, I got them written down. You are so desperate and scared of not being busy or making money that you basically give your services away for free. Or you don't budget for how much it's going to cost you every single month. And so you undercharge. You almost act like you're like, and I think it's completely okay to work from home, but a lot of people who work from home will be like, well, I work from home, and like people don't want to pay the same price as they would in a salon. Hey, this is a salon, so the same prices are to be in effect here as anywhere else. You are a business. You can't undervalue yourself. There's no shame in being paid what you are worth. And I feel that people come in here and they really, really undercharge, and it's not cheap to have a business. And I think that it really hurts them in the end, because once you lock people in and you get them used to these cheap prices, it's really hard to raise your prices like by $10 to $15 because you should have actually been there from the jump and you're trying to get there now. And I mean, I know. I mean, I just recently spoke to someone. They said, oh my God, like I am never going to make the rent. Yes, Kimberly, preach, girl. I'm not going to make the rent here. I need to raise my prices. And all of a sudden it almost comes off dishonest to your clients because you're undercharging for highlights and they think they're getting this great deal. And then you're like, oh no, let me back it up. Actually, like I'm going to charge you this much now. And it just makes you look bad. So just be honest. And I think the reason this happens with a lot of people is because you can no longer hide behind a receptionist, because all of a sudden now you're the one holding the credit card reader, having to look people in the eye and saying it is worth this much. I am worth this much. And we have such a problem with worthiness when it comes to money. And I mean, that is a conversation for a whole nother day, sister, because you probably just have some limiting beliefs around money, and I had them and I don't have them anymore, because you got to get real comfortable with taking money from people, and you're not a bad person for it. So number 1, people undervalue themselves when they come here. They want to do it cheap because they're too scared. And then on top of that, we're going to talk about people don't respect their own boundaries. Also, Kimberly, if you're still here with me, I know you did this. I know I did this. You're like working 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, and you're like, it's fine, it's fine, it's totally fine. You get kind of greedy. The money is good. You're like, wow, I'm banking all this cash. And you feel great and you feel awesome, and you're almost like on this high, so like nothing hurts. Let me tell you, that sort of work ethic is fantastic, but your personal life is going to hurt. Your body is going to hurt. Your mental health is going to hurt. That is not a sustainable business model. I see people doing it all the time. I see people doing it all the time. Again, it comes from that fear of not being able to make the rent, not being able to make it in this sort of business structure. And so I'm available anytime you want to come, all the time. I have no boundaries. Just come and see me whenever. And it's not sustainable. And it's going to be also hard to break that with your clients when they expect that of you, when they now don't understand why they can't come in on a Sunday. Because now you've been open for 6, 8, a year, 12 months, and you're realizing that you can't, like you're not even enjoying this anymore. You're either gonna close these doors down because you undercharged everybody and now you can't afford this, or you're gonna have to close this down or want to close this down because you feel like you have no personal time. You've got pain in your body and you resent coming here, and it just wears off. And I know that hindsight's 2020 and you can't see it from the beginning, but it does end up happening. And I'm not talking, this isn't even like top 3 mistakes I see hairstylists makes. They're top 3 mistakes that like I made when I started here. I did all of these things, and I'm not speaking from like my high tower now saying that like I'm better than anybody, because I don't do that anymore. But like I I really put myself on the back burner in a lot of ways out of desperation. It comes from the wrong place, guys. Your success is inevitable. You need to see your worth, but you need to also, when you come into a salon suite, you need to make the transition from hairstylist to business owner. You're going to have to be able to put on a different hat that you maybe weren't ready to wear. And I would recommend that you reach out to us if this is something that you're thinking about doing. I would love to help you. I'd love to give you more tips. I would love to help you with your branding, your marketing funnel. I know that these are words I might be even throwing out at you and you don't even know what they are. They're words that I didn't even know existed before I realized I had to be more than a hairstylist. I had to be a good business owner, and your clients see it. They not only see it in the quality of your work, but they see it in the quality of the customer service. There are a lot of moving parts here, and you can make it super, super easy on yourself. I know that anybody can come in here and they can succeed. They just need the right tools. They just need the right tools. And if you follow, believe me, you can easily make 6 figures, more than 6 figures working here, and live a very, very comfortable, happy, balanced life. Guys, I invite you to comment, to share, to DM, whatever you need. We are here for you, me and Christine. We're ready to answer any questions that you may have. I just want to help you guys steer yourselves in the right direction, to educate yourselves on the things that you may not feel confident. You are good enough. You are worthy. And you can fucking rock this. I just know it. Thank you for joining me. Have a wonderful afternoon. Have a wonderful rest of your week and weekend. And again, thanks for joining. Take care.